All right, you guys, welcome back to another episode. I know it's been a long time since I've recorded a podcast. I took a hiatus in the spring that turned into a hiatus in the summer. Now it's October. So I apologize, but I'm starting it off with a bang with this beautiful young lady that I met on social media, as I meet many people. One of the reasons I think social media is great because you meet people from all over the place. The irony is when I met her, she actually was working in my city. So we got to meet face to face, and I'm excited to bring you Sierra Scurry. Sierra, who are you? And tell them who you are and what you do.
Hi all. So yes, my name is Sierra. I go by Nurse C. So with that being said, I am a nurse. I have been in the healthcare profession over 7 years, but I've been a nurse over 4 years. Currently, I am I'm currently from Cleveland, and that's where I started my nursing career. And I started becoming a travel nurse last year. So I've been traveling for almost 2 years now. And my specialty in nursing is critical care ICU, cardiac vascular ICU, which I take patients fresh out of open heart surgery and care for them. I also have a health business currently right now.
So impressive. I mean, it's enough being an ICU nurse, dealing with that stress, travel nurse. We'll get more into that. But how did you even get started in the healthcare industry?
Yes, so I always tell this story. And my mom, she will always talk about it. When I was a little girl, I will always talk about being a doctor or a nurse. And so the interest started when I was a younger me.
Oh,
And,
wow.
and yeah, and then as I just got older, the passion just grew, and I just grew more and more in love with health and helping others. Also, there was a time when my grandmother was still alive, where she became very sick. So my family and I had to take care of her at home. And I feel like during that time, that just really helped me get prepared with certain skills, with like caring for her, and it's like skills with becoming a nursing assistant, because I also started off as a nursing assistant. I forgot to mention that. So before I was a nurse, I was a nursing assistant for about like 5 years, which I've always been an advocate of before becoming a nurse, because I just feel like it kind of humbles you. Yes, and it just really shows you, just certain skills and how to really care for an individual, and it kind of helps you see, is this really a career path that I want to be in? And that's just all where it started, and now I'm here.
I can see why we connected because you were passionate about nursing way before I was. So I didn't, my mother actually wanted me to be a nurse. And I was like, I don't need a nurse. Like, I want to be a fashion designer. I don't know what I was thinking. And so I didn't become a nurse until really want to become a nurse until I was probably in my 20s. And once I did, I loved it. But I was a nurse aide while I was in school. So you really do get, that hands-on, you're in the hospital, you're around that environment, so you have a better understanding. And I, like you, I agree. I appreciate when people have worked in the healthcare field some capacity with patients before they become nurses, because it makes them a completely different type of nurse. So that obviously made you a very caring from beginning, passionate and caring nurse. And ICU is really hard. Actually, it's funny. I was just watching a YouTube talking about ICU, Black nurses in the ICU, and how there's not a lot of them
Yeah.
and how that's a rarity. And it was really interesting because I was really talking about bullying in nursing, which is not what we're here to talk about today. We could, but
It does happen.
I could be definitely a whole other crowd. We might have to come back to that one. Um,
Right.
but especially in the ICU, because I worked in the step down for years. So I worked in the step down where we still didn't have a lot of diversity, but the ICUs there's definitely not a lot of Black nurses, especially Black female nurses in the ICUs.
Yeah, yeah. And I think even in nursing in general, I remember recently I came across an article, and I think it said about 7 or 8% of um, the nursing community are Black. So I feel like, yeah, which is pretty low, but I
Mhm.
will say I feel like recently a lot more, I am seeing a lot more of, color women and men coming up in the nursing healthcare career. So that's good to see.
So when you share healthcare at work, do you also share in the community some?
Yes. So with my business that I have, which is called Genesis, I it's a platform that I built first and foremost to just get the community back involved with their health and wellness. And because I love health and wellness, I feel like that's like my niche. I'm able to teach it and just educate the community on it. So whenever I'm home, I try to go to events or pop-up shops. Genesis have been to a few pop-up shops on my Instagram. I have videos that shows, places that I've been. And then also this past, when was it? A few weeks ago when we just had an event in
Yeah, that
Cincinnati.
was. Yeah,
That was
yep.
and although I wasn't a part of that event, I still was able to have my business cards and get those out so people can
Mhm.
know about the business and know that, I'm here to spread more knowledge on health and wellness.
What are some of the challenges you see? Because I know being someone who teaches also healthcare in the community, you often run into people that just don't buy into it. Like, what are some of the
Oh,
challenges that you face?
yes, yes. So I've definitely ran into a few challenges with teaching health to the community. I would say one of the biggest thing is that I feel like the community is behind a bit with health literacy. Meaning some just don't understand certain medical terms or just medications, and I feel like in order to improve that, healthcare professionals can help by just asking like open-ended questions or doing like a teach back method. Like say for instance, someone has asthma and it's their first time using an inhaler, showing the patient how to use an inhaler and having them, teach back or
Mhm.
just using pictures or graphics, like just helping the community just understand better with
Yeah.
things.
And we definitely like, especially in our communities with health literacy, like people who don't know what that is, that's really how like people can read and understand the healthcare environment. So like when we're teaching and educating families and teaching them about medications, things like that we say it in a way that they can understand it. We use terms that they can understand. We don't, talk in all medical terms because most people, heck, half the time I don't know some of the medical terms. They have like, what?
But
Like, let, let me go Google that. Like, what are
and
you?
it's and it's really and it's nice to just it's important to develop health literacy because it just helps you better manage your health, overall. It helps protects our health and just furthermore helps prevent further health or health problems happening.
Mhm.
So, and I would say another challenge you may be able to agree is just like simply the community just aren't aware of health in general. Like just
Yeah.
having a well balanced diet, incorporating exercise in their daily regimen, getting adequate amounts of sleep. Those small things add up and they are important to our health and wellness.
I agree 100%. And especially like, it seems like the more I teach, the more I realize people don't know. And I didn't realize
Mhm.
that until I started teaching in the community, because when you're in the
Yeah,
hospital, you kinda get people for, like, especially you in the ICU, you're not really doing teaching a lot of times because they're on the end where they're the sickest. And then
exactly.
you are starting to teach them when they're going out, they're who's, like, half sick, you're not feeling good, and they wanna teach you, "Okay, this is how you use medication. This is what you're gonna take every
Right.
day. You're gonna
Yep.
take this 4 times a day. Okay, you got it? Mhm." And then it looks like the
They're
and here's the
looking
name of
like,
it, hypochlorothiazide, and
okay. And I feel like most times they're just like, okay, like patients just like,
Mhm.
okay, and they don't
They
understand,
do, right? They
know?
they mhm,
Like, okay, yeah.
and it
And they have
really wasn't
that
until I
moment.
worked in the outpatient side that I saw the other side of that, when they didn't
Uh,
understand, and you probably see it with people you meet in the community, people you interact with, even family
yep,
members.
family members definitely. And I would say that has always been one of the things that I've been grateful for, just being able to have the knowledge as a nurse and being able to give that knowledge to my family
Mhm.
because there's certain things they don't know. So,
Yeah.
and of course, they're always calling up,
I
just,
was gonna say,
hey, this
well
is going on. What can you do? What am I supposed to do?
I get that all the time. I always get the calls like, well, like, especially like, 'cause I'm a pediatric nurse, so like there's a lot of things like there's some things that I don't like we just don't experience. But now that I do adolescents, I'm like doing more of the adult side, so I'm seeing more of the adult illnesses. But when I did like pediatric cardiology, like it was completely different from adult cardiology. But
Yeah,
I worked in adult cardiology, so I understood it. But yeah, people do always call you, and they always
right.
think you have the answers. And
All the answers.
you
Every time.
but let me go ask a friend who maybe works in that area. Like,
Right.
like don't come to me about like oncology and things like that. Like those medicine. I think somebody was seeing an oncologist and asked me. I was like, I have no idea. Like, I don't know anything about
And they were,
any oncology
like, I'm
medication,
just gonna be honest with you.
right? But I may know
Tell you
somebody.
this.
But people definitely, if you're a nurse and they know it, like you find out more about people than you honestly ever wanted to know. Like, I got this bump and I got this, like, oh Lord, can I show you a picture?
Right, right. That's my that's actually my auntie. She always, can I show you a picture of this and can you tell me what this is? You want me to diagnose you? I'm not a doctor, auntie.
And a picture does not say everything.
Right.
Where is that located on your body? Like, oh God. So how's your like careers your as a nurse? So I know like for me, my nursing and seeing like the whole health spectrum, how has that impacted you starting your own business related to healthcare?
Yes, that's a great question. So I feel like being a nurse has definitely brought me into rooms that I never imagined, rooms where I was able to just make connections and network, which was actually something that I had to get out of my comfort zone for. So that's been a big key too with transitioning over into a health business. So
Mm,
yeah, and just also me being a travel nurse, again, that just helps me expand to different areas around the world and just being able to make these connections. And, just being a nurse in general and having all this knowledge about health and wellness it's been key. So that's just been good for me. It's been helpful for me to incorporate that into the health business that I have. Having
mhm.
the nurse knowledge, being able to meet new people and network and find out more about nursing. Like, me being able to network around the world has shown me that I don't have to just work at bedside as a nurse.
Mhm.
There's a broad spectrum with being a nurse. You can
Yeah.
do anything, and that's what brought me into Nurseprenuer is what I like to say.
Nurse.
Nurseprenuer into,
I like that.
the business. And I didn't know that before. So this is just all new for me and it's
That's
been great.
awesome. And I love that you're younger and you're doing it because I feel like I've been a nurse for a really, really long time. And a lot of nurses that have been nurses for a really, really long time, like me, they assume like this is like all the only thing you can do. So like when I started being a nursepreneur, I didn't know there was a name for it. So now I'm a nursepreneur.
Like we
People
got
were
names
always
and
like,
everything.
we need shirts. We need to start a whole nother group. We need to start a whole nother group of nursepreneurs. That's
Yes. Yep.
conversation we have. Another conversation, another time for sure. But I remember people like thinking like, how do you have time to do that? Why do you do that after work? Da, 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 And when I started as a nursepreneur, I just started like I had an online shop which wasn't related to healthcare at all. But the more I talked to people, the more I saw that other piece. And the need for us to be able not just to be at our jobs at the bedside or whatever we're doing, but to take that, be able to bring that out into the community to
Yeah.
really share our knowledge, you
Yeah.
know. But it is like that's the one thing the reason I went into nursing, and that really was the reason because I knew that I could have so many options for jobs. Like I never had to touch a patient if I never wanted to. I can touch one as much as I wanted, and that was one of the reasons I chose nursing. And I mean, I don't really touch patients now, but I touch them with knowledge versus hands. So,
Yeah, yeah. And I want to piggyback off of that because that's actually one of the main reasons why I was excited about starting nursing too. I seen that you can work in any type of specialty if you want to be hands-on or if you want to do more like office work. You're still a nurse doing that. So that was one of the biggest things that I loved about being a nurse. And then once I seen that, oh, and I could be a nursepreneur, that's like a stepping stone. So where that all comes from.
Yeah, I mean, and people just don't know, and I wish more like, I was one of the girls I work with is retiring, and, our director was like, "Oh, what are you gonna do now?" You know, and she was like, "I don't know, I might start a brewery, I might be somewhere pouring wine." Like, "You're not gonna do something related to nursing?" She was like, "No." And it's like you do get kind of like a lot of the older nurses get kind of thought like, "This is all that
Yeah,
you can." I was like, "Well, no, that's not we're not one dimensional, like, we're multidimensional, we're multi-gifted," and, being able to do that, but, like, I do see that a lot of nurses that are definitely the older ones are just kind of like, "You're a nurse, and you're a nurse," and I was like,
yeah, and
"I'm so much more than a nurse." So I think it's so cool that you are starting this next generation is starting a whole new vision on nursing to be able to not only be at the bedside, not only be involved in nurse, but actually after work be able to take that knowledge and really, take it another direction. So tell me a little, since we're going that direction, tell us a little bit more about Genesis. I see your shirt.
yes,
Love
yes, oh yeah.
it.
I'm sorry. Hopefully, you guys can see it. But yes,
Yeah.
this is my logo here, Genesis Health and Wellness. And so Genesis is again my platform that I created, and where healthcare meets self care. That's the logo
I
there.
love it. Yeah. When you said that as your motto, I really like that. Like
Yeah,
healthcare, and it is like without your
it
health, you
really is.
have nothing. Like without health, you have nothing. Like think of like
Yeah,
I just feel like a little under the weather today, and I'm like, it just. But without your health, health is self care. Yes, healthcare is
yeah.
self.
Yes. And, since I love health and wellness, I created this. And since there just are a bunch of health disparities around the world, I wanted to create a Genesis to change that health trajectory. And
Mm.
I just wanted to get the community more involved again, back with their health and wellness, and educate them more on the important things of health and wellness. And so right now, I currently have an online store, and I did bring some of my products. So
Yay! I was hoping you would. So if you're listening to
yes,
this on the podcast, I'm going to post it off on the podcast. You're not going to get to see the products, but I will put the link in the podcast show notes so that you can go either to YouTube or to Instagram and be able to see the video. So having said that, let's see the products.
yes. So one of my products that I have here is my pink tote bag, and it says,
Very
yes, Genesis, where healthcare meets self-care. And then I also have supplements. I have immunity supplements, which are called Immunity Plus Longevity. And those supplements are pretty much just like your daily supplements. We should be getting daily nutrients. And and if you are if you need pills, we all get nutrients in different ways, through food, through supplements. And I like to have these supplements that are good, that you can take daily, that has tons of nutrients in it. And then I also have my detox pills, which are called the swim blast tabs. So those are good if you're just looking for a good detox, or to lose some weight. These are actually my best selling pills.
okay.
And the ingredients in these supplements are all natural.
Nice. I was going
Yeah.
to ask that. And I might have you pull those up again when you go back through.
Okay.
Pull the bottles up so people can see them.
Okay. I also have
Oh,
science
nice.
titles. So I have 3 of them. I brought 2 with me today. So this one says hydrating and self-care. And then on the back of it, it just has my brand there, my logo. And then I have this black one here. This one is one of my
Oh,
favorites.
the black one's pretty.
Yeah. I did a little funky quote here. You got the
I
drip.
might have to grab me one of those. I'm gonna have to go on and get me one of the black ones. I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to get me one of the black ones. I like that.
you gotta get you one. And it's
Well, I'm
really nice.
always carrying water, but usually my water bottle is not that cute. It's usually
And it's nice because we should be drinking a good amount of water daily. So these help you keep on track. If you can take it with you everywhere you go. And it's nice because it does keep your drinks cold if needed.
okay.
So
Oh, nice.
and that is all on my website, which is genesishealthwell.com.
And I will share that in the show notes for podcast and for like both the videos. So I will share those, and I'll be getting my black one. Can you show the pills again so we can see the
Yes.
bottles? And just
Yeah.
talk maybe a little bit more about the ingredients in those.
All right. So we could start with the Slim Blast tabs here that we have. So this one has like vitamin C, vitamin D3 in it here. Another key ingredient is the inositol, and that helps pulls fat from the liver. And
Oh, wow.
also there's ingredients in here that helps with it has biotin in it, vitamin B12, which also helps as like an energy booster.
Yeah.
So these are really great if you need a good detox. I normally like taking these, say if I'm feeling bloated, and just need a good detox. I recommend detoxes every other month or so. So you take 3 vitamins a day, and you can take 2. I have some clients that takes 2 a day. You could take 2 to 3, and you take it with each meal. And what these does, they again pull fat from the liver, and it also helps with the energy if you need a good boost. But I will say, like these pills really do get rid of a lot of detox, so you'll be in the bathroom for like the first. I would say like everyone is different. You know, sometimes you may be in the bathroom straight for like a week or a few weeks, but you will really tell a difference the more and more you take these.
Okay.
And
Cool.
then, yeah, I love these. These are really my best seller. I was just talking to my cousin about it yesterday. She said, I need to order some more pills. And then immunity plus longevity, again, is just like your daily supplements that you would take. And these they have vitamin A, vitamin C and E, vitamin B6, magnesium, zinc, selenium. So those are all good for daily nutrients.
Well, when I met you in person, you told me a little bit about your health journey, and you did share some of your weight loss, and I was so impressed because one thing I love about you, and in the health and wellness industry, there's so many people that have this certain look, and it's a look that everybody's like, oh, I gotta look like this look, when we're not all meant to look like this look, this certain look that, oh, I gotta have this perfectly flat stomach and no hips, and my legs have to be like 2 inches wide, and and it's like, no, like everybody is not built like that. And I love, like, your body shape is gorgeous, and you have had your own health journey. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yes, I definitely will. I love talking about it because it's really a journey that I had. And I look back at pictures and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe like I'm just a different person from there. But I would say about I think maybe 2 to 3 years ago, time has changed. I think it's about 2 years ago. I noticed that I was just heavier with my weight. And at that time, I think I was just going through a lot, just overeating, not really paying attention to it until, it was like at that moment I looked at myself and
Like we all do.
yeah, and I stood on the scale and I'm like, oh my gosh, OMG. So I ended up at that time, this was before I became a travel nurse. So I was working in Cleveland. And when I was home in Cleveland, I just started working out at home first, because that's one thing about me. I've always loved working out. Since I was in college, I've always been on the track. I've always just been active. But I started working out at home, and then I ended up joining a local gym. And to this day, I still pop in. When I'm in town, I always go there because it's just fun, and it keeps us, it's like a family-oriented type of place. So it keeps like motivated, So, I started doing that, and I just was just losing my weight. But, and I'll be honest, at that time, the heaviest I was on the scale was 198, 199. And that was the heaviest I've ever been in my life. So now today I'm in like the 165 to the 170 range. So that was a big, loss of weight loss for me. And that was a huge journey for me that I'm still continuing on. And that's one thing I know that ever since then, that's something that I would never go back to, because I was uncomfortable. I felt bloated all the time, and with the extra weight. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't like the way I feel. And when I started working out and I started losing the pounds, I started eating healthier as well. That was another thing. I changed my diet. I won't say that the diet is just perfect because it's just
Your
hasn't.
life, you're living,
That's
right?
right, exactly. And once you're used to eating a certain way to the way you grow up, you're kind of used to that until you have to try to break out of it. But I
Mhm.
still more of a healthier diet, and I still continue on with that journey.
And one thing I like that you've said this twice, it's a journey, and I wish more people would hear that because I think when people set, like, these weight loss goals or this fitness goal, and you think like, "Okay, I hit it, and then
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna
then
stay
that's
there."
it.
Like,
Yeah,
no, like, as soon as you stop doing everything that you did to get there, that you are gonna see some change. Like, I was a bodybuilder years ago, and, like, to a bodybuilder, like, you lose all your body fat.
yeah.
Well, normal person cannot function without all your body fats. That was a goal, but it was like, okay, but that wasn't realistic. So, like, when you say journey, like, I really like that you use that word.
Yeah, yeah, because it's a lifestyle. And
Mhm.
and before I used to be that one where I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to Miami next month. Let me these next 4 weeks, let me try to lose this amount of pounds. I remember even talking to a trainer one day and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to Miami, so I'm trying to lose this amount of pounds. And he's like, okay, girl, like this is a journey. Like you can't want to lose these pounds and then right back, gain them back and go back
Right.
to that not so healthy lifestyle. So yeah, it's definitely a journey, and it
The
and
other
it and it is challenging. It takes time, but it's healthy when you feel healthy, you look healthy, and you know,
and I wish more people would get that. Like, I wish they would get that number 1, it's a journey. And number
yes,
2, like, I think a lot of people do walk around and they are unhealthy and they're so used to it, they think that it's like okay until they're not, until they're not
and we
unhealthy.
we
Then
see it all the
they
time in
realize,
the hospital.
oh my
So,
God, I felt
so
terrible.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's another reason why I created Genesis, just to have that preventative measure, so
Mhm.
we can, well, if you are having this health issue, what can we do? What is the solution here before things go further? Because I see so much in the hospital.
Yeah. Oh, well, and you work on and well, now that I'm working on like the young adult side, I see like they're all like starting there now, and it just makes me so sad. And when I did work in adult cardiology for 3 years, and I was like, I couldn't. No, they got on my
No, it
nerves.
was a lot.
But
I know it's
so I had to leave them, but they were always coming in, same issues, they have surgery, come back in, be right back in, and it was like a cycle. And one thing that you said that I was just thinking about this recently, and I think I can't remember if I talked to somebody about it or I posted, I can't remember, but like, or I heard somebody say it, and I think I did say something on social media, like we have to like change our taste buds. We have to also know that like everything we eat is not going to taste like fantastic. Like, you might have like a green smoothie that might not taste like an ice cream cone, but knowing that you're getting like all those antioxidants and all those vitamins and all those nutrients, like we have to change how we see food and how we taste it because we do want everything to taste like, like a nice fried chicken, mashed potatoes with
right. Yes.
gravy
Yeah.
and macaroni and cheese, and then we want a sundae or some pie, or we want everything to taste just like, I want to eat healthy, but I want it all to taste just like that.
Right.
It's just
Yes.
not real.
This I know, yeah. And when I like growing up and living at home, I know we ate a lot of fried food, especially, chicken. So that was one, like when I moved out on my own, I started pulling out some of the bad, greasy, fried things that I used to eat. So, and most times now I feel like I kind of trained my taste buds to not even want those things
Yeah.
because, and I think
Isn't
we
that
talked
true?
about
Like
that.
when you're used to eating healthy, like when you eat unhealthy, like you want to go back to health, like
You
your
want to go,
taste,
yeah.
like, what are you doing to me? Like,
But
why are you torturing me? And then you need something green and crunchy, and you're
yeah,
like,
yeah. Because after a while, you don't even crave those things anymore. You crave more
no,
the healthy things.
yeah.
So
That is so true. Like I found that now that like I used to like I was a junk food. I am a reformed junk food junkie. So like if anyone wants to speak to junk food, like
yeah,
I
you have
ate
an
junk
answer.
food. It's like I didn't eat a salad until I was 35. So let's just say that. So like I get it. I 100% get it. But once I got used to I started eating like that all the time, like it became like I then like now like it's really hard for me to go like even maybe a day without having something healthy, having something crunchy and healthy because otherwise like I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm missing something. So
Yeah.
we really do have to
Yes,
change.
that's and and starting off small always helps. I and
Mhm.
starting off small by making a smoothie. Who doesn't like smoothies? Put all your best fruits, veggies in one thing. Drink it. Start that off in the morning. And then go from there. Starting off small for your
Yeah,
for your
no, that's great.
journey.
Start small.
Yeah,
Start off small.
yeah.
Start with the smoothie.
And then
Start
make
with
sure
a
you
small
take
salad.
your daily supplements because those
Mhm.
help as well
Get
with
you,
your
yeah.
health.
Well, this has been fantastic, and I hope that we're gonna have to get together too. I like that whole Nurseprenuer future. We'll have to
Yes, yeah.
talk about that more because that, you know, we might be onto something there.
We may be on.
Uh, so where can people tell us where we can find you, where we can see you, where we can buy the products for Genesis Wellness?
Okay, yes.
Health and wellness.
Yes. Yep. So my products that I have again are on my online store, which is up and running. And it's genesishealthwell.com. And I do shipping all around the world. And I do fast shipping. So the moment you put in your order, I'm probably shipping it off the very next day, unless it's the weekend, of course, because the office is closed on the weekends. But that's where you can um, get your products from. And then I have an Instagram account, which is Genesis Health underscore Wellness. And that I would say that's where we're mostly at, posting a lot of just education and different reels and everything. So in stories. So I would say if you have an Instagram account, great. Make sure you stay up to date with us on there. And then also our Facebook is called Genesis Spa. So anything that's updated on Instagram will also go on Facebook.
Wonderful. And what is the future? Where do you see Genesis Health and Wellness going next?
Yes, great, great. Well, first off, Genesis is definitely the future of well-being. And I plan to build a medical spa in the near future once I'm done traveling and everything. And at that spa, I will be offering self-caring services that will be beneficial to your health. So you all have to make sure you stay tuned.
So make sure you follow, like, comment, see where she is, because she might be opening that spa in a city near
Yes,
you.
listen, because it's going to be big things happening. So
Oh, I definitely can see big things for you, and I am
thank
so
you.
excited. I'm so glad that we met. Like they
I'm
met
so
us
glad.
and met in person, and
It was a reason for it all. Everything
yes,
happens
it
for a reason.
always is. Always is. Well, I thank God for every time I get to interact with women that are just doing things and growing. And I can't wait to see where Genesis goes because I know it's going to be great. And I will be in contact with you anyway, so I'll know. But thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us here and being like our first on the relaunch, the rebirth of the long hiatus of the podcast. And the Sweet Life Cafe interviews, you are like the first one to make it back open and back up. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Stephanie. I'm so glad I've been able to just connect with you and being able to be on your podcast, which is also my first time ever doing a podcast or meeting with someone. So, hopefully
And you did great.
thank you. I'm like, oh, I got this. So
Oh yeah, you
thank you
got
so
this, girl.
much.
Thank you so much. And we will be, we'll be in contact.
Okay,
All right.
great.
Well, thanks guys for joining us. And I'm going to let Sierra go. And I'll catch you guys on the next podcast or the next interview or the next Sweet Life Cafe interview. So keep watching. Bye, everybody.
Bye.